and the Mavs with the return of their leading man again because Kawhi Leonard is playing for the first
night 2 of this back-to-back matchup.
Well, quite a bit. Very disruptive. So you're going to have to play with force if you are the Mavericks this season.
Steal by Chris Dunn. Sean Wright, Marat Kogut, Brett Nansel are the officials. Not to say that the first 4 or 5 minutes will tell us everything, but I am intrigued to see that, as I know you are, in terms of force, disposition, etc. from the Mavericks' perspective.
They have to have that.
James Harden will put it down, and it's Lively there to challenge the shot. They get it right sometimes.
Sometimes they get it right.
On the bounce, Anthony Davis right to the basket. Very fluid drive.
Unguardable against most defenses.
34 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks on Wednesday for AD in his last game. Three-pointer, Norman Powell. PJ ensures that's a one-and-done trip for the Clippers.
You're going to see a lot of this.
Clippers won 114-91 last night. It wasn't a wire-to-wire win, but it darn near was. The last time the Mavs led in the game was 6-5. Lively, a catch on the edge of the paint. Defended well by Davis against Harden from the baseline. And standing his ground inside to secure the defensive board. Zubac leads the entire NBA in total offensive rebounds this year. He just had a defensive board and didn't need to have an offensive board. Knocked up out of bounds by Washington. And the Mavs turn it over for the second time in the early stages of the game.
Good
Steal,
job.
Lively, stepped around Zubac. Zubac's turn and quickly had something to say to the official. Now here's PJ. PJ lost it on the drive against Norman Powell. PJ picked it back up. It was dislodged by Kawhi. It's a three-point heave by Clay.
Got to get back.
Because right now a 3-on-2 is developing. Running to the corner is Powell. He'll drive in January 14th. We did not see him again until his return on Wednesday. Sat last night on the front end of the back-to-back. He played.
Zubac.
14 and 13 points and boards last night. And here is a defensive player who attacked that pass.
He certainly did.
Leonard is on an undisclosed minutes restriction and his first time to play both sets of a back-to-back in over a year for the Clippers.
Like size, they can switch a lot. The Clippers, although you don't want this matchup, they're going to double him right away.
Here comes Zubac to help Chris Dunn against AD. Bullet pass. Dinwiddie inside the assist on the easy finish for Love.
To the right guy in that situation.
A drive by Harden into the teeth of the game and 50% shooting. 15 on the shot clock. Najee Marshall's gone in. Zubac, of course, isn't going to take a three, but he drives it, lost it, scooped back up, missed by Kawhi. Tip-in missed as well. Even if you don't block the shots, AD's presence can put a player off, as we saw there. And out of a triple threat, that three is on.
You can do all the basics from it.
6 out of 19 on threes, Anthony Davis in his time with the Mavs. The Harden step back. And Dinwiddie secures a rebound. Dinwiddie a couple of assists. Now he's got his first board. Perhaps another assist. Around and out for AD on the three. Davis poked the ball away from Norman Powell. Picked up by PJ. Numbers right now for Dallas. Davis inside. He's fouled.
That stuff comes in handy when you play a team like the Clippers.
Mavericks have fared well this year on the salvage to split and tie the game.
It's been all about Davis.
17 and 23, the road record for Dallas. Remember, they have 42 road games to play this year. Harden for three. Clipper home record. Clippers 45 and 32. 38-40 is where things stand for the Mavericks this year going into this game. A Harden three. A Clay three to respond. No, he's chased off the line by Chris Dunn. Good drive. Season going into play tonight, but despite that, is in the top 20 in the league. 20.
That can fill up a stat sheet.
4 assists, 2 blocks per game with Dallas, along with 19. 1 of 2 on the line, up with the left hand, rolls in for Kawhi Leonard. Missed his first 2 field goal attempts before that make. Screen and roll involving Dinwiddie and Davis. 24 minutes, and that low minute number certainly a component of why he's able to play tonight on the second night of a back-to-back. Too strong off the glass. Still free there for a moment. Ty Lue said that Kawhi's been wanting to play in back-to-backs, but the medical staff just wanted to make sure that the time was right, that he was checking all the boxes that he needed. Last night certainly were another component of the decision-making process. Walking into a 3, off target to the left for Davis. Over the top, that's caught on the run and slammed by Leonard.
Well, you got to get back.
From an 8-8 tie, 9 of the last 10 points of the game scored by the Clippers. A bit strong on the Davis layup attempts. Well, last night at a 10-10 tie, the Clippers went on a run that essentially ceased.
Especially getting guys in foul trouble.
Harden only had 12 points on 4 of 11 shooting last night.
He got some rest, too. He didn't play a lot of minutes.
He already has 10 in his opening 6.5 minutes of play this evening. On the drive.
All spearheaded by their ability to contain their opponent. Nice.
Field goal attempt of the game. And a well-run play out of a timeout for the Mavs.
I like it. Certainly need to get PJ on track.
Mavericks had already started going to their bench when Marshall went in for Lively. He's defending right now. Kawhi scores over him.
The little coaches, they play cat and mouse games probably sometimes. There's nothing wrong with Kawhi.
No. He looks like the real deal Holyfield.
Looks like himself.
Off the turnover for Dallas. Powell with a miss. Mavs have been loose with the ball here in the opening 8 minutes. They have 5 turnovers. Clippers very, very good at forcing turnovers. Powell defending Spencer Dinwiddie. A back down here, a quick turn. First 7:51 of the game. 2 guys off the bench for them. That big junior. When you get a healthy Amir Coffey, he will be in the mix as well.
And their roles are well documented. One shoots, the other does whatever needs to be done in Derrick Jones Jr.
Here's a double. Bogdanovic shot it well last night. He puts it down, and then Powell under the defense. Ty Jones taps it. Derrick Jones Jr. with an offensive board for the Clippers.
With that live body that he has.
A pair of free throws by Dinwiddie, and then Harden.
The Clippers already with 20 points in the paint in this contest.
And that is too many so far. 4-3, up and no good. Mavs are 1 of 5 on threes in the game. Davis has made 1. Last night, Dallas was 4 of 20 from distance. Caleb Martin defending Bogdanovic. Slapped out by Zubac. Caleb Martin, the advance pass to Najee Marshall. They had Ty Jones arriving, but they go with Christie. Then good ball movement and a Caleb Martin corner. Shot by Martin is off target. And then a bad pass. Big run for the Clippers since this game was tied at 8-8. Anthony Davis, 7 points early on. More than half of Dallas's scoring output. A jump stop in the paint for Najee Marshall. Ty Jones is well positioned for the put. 9 points, 5 rebounds in 22 minutes for Jones last night. Tonight, his 11th game. He had 12 games, the prorated number that he could be active when he signed with Dallas on a 2-way deal.
His ability to lead.
23-24 at the very end of the season. He signed with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Never saw any action. Didn't see any action with them until this year when he was on a 2-way contract. Jones, a native of the Bahamas. 2 years collegiately in Austin for the Longhorns. Marshall dribbled into traffic. Now Christie. Making himself available near the free throw line is Anthony Davis. And for Davis, that's 9. Flashing into the middle of the defense. Zubac, soft touch.
Still going to this position for the Mavericks being better.
Here's a Bogdanovic drive and left free for 3. Jones, no good. Playing tonight for the Clippers, he did not play on the front end of the back-to-back last night, is Ben Simmons. You see number 25 for Los Angeles in their City Edition light blue uniforms. In rhythm, off a couple of crossovers, a launch by Kawhi is no good. Derek Lively's back end, played 4 minutes in the first quarter. 1 basket on 2 shot attempts in the first for Lively. He's got 1 foul. 4-3, Klay Thompson. Batum with the rebound. And it's an attack by Ben Simmons, and then the kick out.
Jones Jr. being very aggressive.
Jones up on Anthony Davis. AD drives to the elbow. Caleb Martin, the extra pass, and that leads to a Klay Thompson corner. 3.
Order to him.
Klay was feeling under the weather last night and only played 10 minutes in the game. I'm sorry, 13 minutes in the game. Bogdanovich.
Push off there.
Bogdanovich 6 assists and then doubled that number when it comes to points last night and shot it efficiently for the 2nd straight game. Shot it well against New Orleans on Wednesday. Hook shot missed by Lively over Ben Simmons. Bogdanovich in the open court, looking for another one. Upstairs to
Go up and get any kind of lob. So that is time with us.
Yeah, there has not been a lob thrown that I've seen that DJ can't go up and get. Lively tried to secure the loose ball. How he poked that square ball away by Ben Simmons, and it's a snowbird for.
Pretty good.
Kawhi against Caleb Martin. Martin really trying to dig in to keep Leonard out of the paint. Easier said than done. That's good.
Sensational.
Klay double pumps. Got it.
Going offensively for Dallas. They really struggled shooting the 3 in the last couple of games.
10 for 30 the other night against Brooklyn in a loss. 4 for 20 last night. 8 points. Gonna go to Davis against Batum. Ben Simmons comes over on the double. That Caleb Martin on the floor. Lively. Free ball picked up. Klay. There's been a foul out of the game. P.J. Washington back out there. While the Clippers have the ball right now, let's talk a little Klay Thompson. Leslie, you've got more on Thompson, who has knocked down a couple of shots here.
Yeah, he told me after last night that he felt so much better today, and I just love what Jason Kidd had to say about him yesterday. There it is, that this is his time.
Like the kicks?
Indeed. Like the kicks, love the cause. Timeout taken by Ty Lue. Klay Thompson has started to get things rolling. Late clock situation, it's stolen anyway. Bogdanovich would have had to do something pretty special to get a shot up to beat the buzzer, but it didn't matter. Caleb Martin steals, attacks, and guides.
Is Martin. Right after the miss, he's right back up at it. That's the tip. That's hanging around.
Norman Powell, first on PJ. First of 2. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a let-off for Dallas. That it's a trip to the line for the normally quite reliable Norman Powell when it comes to freebies. Klay Thompson off target. Klay has all 8 points for the game here in the early stages of the 2nd quarter. Anthony Davis leading Dallas with 13. Harden turned down a shot to kick it out to Kawhi Leonard. A missed corner 3 for Kawhi. Kawhi in his 13th year from San Diego State. Steal. One of the best to ever play when it comes to stealing the ball, whether it's on-ball defense or intercepting a pass.
Shout out to Coach Bishop.
So tonight, before the game, I asked Jake Kidd about what the honor meant as we see PJ score out of a timeout.
Need to see more from him.
He said, well, just the honor to play with players like Kobe, LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, who's going into the Hall of Fame this year as an individual. And he said, you know, I had kind of a different role on that team It's nice to go into the Hall of Fame as the ball boy from that team. Now, he was not the ball boy. Come on now.
Right.
But always very, very modest about his own play.
Yeah. Well, his game was unselfish.
Give and go. Speaking of unselfish, and it's Kai Jones. No three-point play. 10-point game. Free throw wide, shooting into the wall that we discussed last night. The Mavs are only 4 of 7 here in the first half. Tip pass, Caleb Martin. Free ball, though, picked up by Kawhi. Passing lane was closed off for a moment by Dallas. Then it's Zubac, a deep paint catch and a finish with the left.
Had a difficult time challenging that shot.
A drive and a lead. Dinwiddie and Kai Jones on the pick and roll. And it's finished by Jones. I love watching Kai Jones play.
How could you not?
This time with Dallas has been unlike anything he's experienced in his career. Opportunity and production. And he's part of Dallas forcing a turnover here. Caleb Martin, coast to coast for Caleb. Back the other way. Dallas tries to get matched up as the Clippers look to set up quickly. Kawhi, isolation against Kai Jones. The Clippers shoot more field goal attempts off isolations than anyone else in the NBA. 10 a game.
That's what I did, was give it to other people. He is so humble, and just talking about his role there and minimizing the role that he had on that team.
Well, someone, of course, had to remind him about the numbers. Mark, you know who that was.
Mark followed up.
There's numbers that need reminding. Someone needs to be reminded. And Anthony Davis right back into the game. Hart, their first possession, right back into the game, and there are players who you're cool with.
Yeah, you're cool with AD. He's a real shooter.
Crashing the glass. 2 on the free throw line a little bit ago. Even Harden is 11th. Oh, Harden just missed one. 27,555 points. James Harden, 11th in NBA history. Organized in the corner. A missed shot, though, by PJ.
Playing their best basketball.
I think the Klay Thompson burst earlier in this quarter was pretty important. That provided a pick-me-up to the Dallas offense when they really needed it. Davis passes out of the post, and it falls right to him on the miss for PJ. There's been a foul call. And being successful in transition, Harp, I like free throws slowing the pace of the game down. Davis has had 3 different on each of those 3 trips to the charity stripe. Norman Powell on the drive down the edge of the lane. Max Christie challenged it, but Powell missed.
Once he get in the lane.
Harden defending Dinwiddie. PJ against Bogdanovich. Should be able to overpower Washington with 2. With 3:07 to go in the second. And free throw shooting percentage have been these last 3 seasons.
They're free throws for a reason. You got to be able to make your freebies. Washington Jr. misses.
Team shooting into the wall here at Intuit Dome, as we said last night, are a bit under 75% for the season. It is having an impact. Speaking of an impact, Davis is having one defensively. AD's limping a little bit. It's his left knee that I just saw him reach down to touch. He's arriving onto the scene now. And will screen and will roll. Dinwiddie picked up his dribble. Christie on the attack. Picks it up in the paint. Still time to make something happen. But Najee Marshall's going to have to make it happen right now. Made a beeline to the basket. And again, wow, puts a shot up. And Clippers up by 9. They want to send Harden right rather than left. And Washington steps over after Dinwiddie sitting right. And has the block shot. And now it goes right back to Anthony Davis. There was a kick out, a refeed inside, but a miss on the doorstep. Zubac tried to save it in. Looped out to near center court. Davis. Harden defending. Davis goes to work, elevates over the defense, doesn't get the roll. Pinned against the glass. And Davis, nice move, working way underneath the basket to save it back in play. 6 of 15 from the floor. One dribble for rhythm. Short for Davis. Another tap out rebound. That was by PJ. And a heave. And it is Christie. Drano. And Dallas creeps. They have stayed connected through any number of different things. Good defense. some second chance points. A burst by Clay, and here's Chris Dunn. Interesting things going on in basketball tonight.
Yes, it is. And we're trying to cover it all.
Here's Harden, flicks it to Zubac, operating underneath and scores again. Feels like a matter of time. Doubles for Ivica Zubac. The points are already there at 14. The boards are closed at 7. Davis guarded by Kawhi, then a pass intended for Lively when a second defender came.
That would have been tough to deal with.
And in transition, going upstairs is Norman Powell.
The quarter really important to get yourself established.
Off target on the 3. The team back in December at home and lost by 23 at December at home. And lost by 23 last night. Harden looks off the defense and softly sets it up for Zubac.
That's a he got in the lane.
Well, the third quarter has opened with a 6-0 Clipper push. Points in the third quarter for the Mavericks. It was 61-52 when the quarter started. 6 in a row by the Clippers before Davis with 3 the old-fashioned way. Puts him at 19. That's what he's averaging with Dallas. Flipped up by Zubac and in.
And more attention.
8 for 8 tonight now, Hart. 8 for 8 for Zubac. Couple of free throws. That's how he's arrived at 18 points. From the backside, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi came to help Chris Dunn to the ground. Oh, missed dunk!
Big break for Dallas.
Klay Thompson at the other end. That's a 5-point break for Dallas. A miss into the floor, hitting bullseye Klay Thompson. 4-3 Kawhi. Rimming out. Spencer Dinwiddie has not made a field goal in this game. He's got 2 points at the line. But they're dialing up the right number now. Dialing up number 3, and he scores 2.
Yeah, get it to number 3. Offense through Anthony Davis right now.
Zubac screening. Harden short on a runner. He's been pretty golden on those little runners and floaters and teardrops tonight. Dinwiddie transition. Nope. Lively offensive rebound. Back to PJ. Up no good. Battle for the ball on the floor. Multiple players going after it. Leonard. Down the lane, Harden. Stop. Three players doing the heavy lifting for the Clippers. Harden 22, Zubac 18, Kawhi 18. Conference Player of the Year and a high lottery pick, 5th in 2016. Marshall went in for Dinwiddie a moment ago. And an ISO up top. Anthony Davis on the drive, a bit strong. Caleb Martin is at the scorer's table for the Mavs. Kawhi Leonard, cross-court pass. And then a long bounce past 10 minutes Wednesday night. And we would expect that that will be the ballpark figure. Oh, coming out to block the 3 is PJ. Norman Powell had that 3 stuffed and then take it to the cup.
Couldn't agree more. He's still in this game.
And 8-8. Clippers have won 13 of their last 16 games. Going into action tonight, they've got to win to keep pace with Memphis and Minnesota, who both won close games tonight. Memphis beat Detroit. Minnesota barely beat Philadelphia. AD guarding Harden. On the move, caught and 21 for Zubac. A spectacular game for Zubac, who over the last 17 is averaging almost 20. Having his finest season in his time with the Clippers. Klay Thompson keeps it up, puts it up and in. Feels like there's a lot of headwinds blowing against the Mavs, but they just continue to show some dogged determination not to fall too far out of range. 12-point lead. The score inside by Kawhi. And then it's slapped away by Kawhi. Run out dunk, Leonard. He's taken a lot more floaters this year and shooting them more effectively, around 45%, and that's been a bread and butter shot for him tonight. Harden, Zubac, Leonard, the trio leading the way, but seems to be blocking that out here as he goes to the line.
Got them both.
That's the first time he's gone to the line tonight for 2 free throws and made both of them. Powell with the drive to a spot below the free throw line and knocked down easily by Norman Powell. Powell averages 22 points a game, shoots 49% from the floor. Shots good for Caleb Martin. Martin growing into a bigger role with Dallas. 6 points, 3 assists in 14 minutes tonight. Solid defender. Leslie said at the outset tonight they'll look to him with Jaden Hardy hurt, and J-Kid said that the other night as well with no Brandon Williams. That when Dinwiddie's not in the game, he's one of the several individuals they'll look to second half of the third quarter. With the ball, Caleb Martin. Kai Jones is in. Kai had a very productive first half. 8 points in the first half. Keeping the ball alive was Kai Jones. And now Caleb Martin will drift out to the corner. A bit much on that three-point try by Martin. Martin hasn't dialed in the range on his threes in his time with Dallas. Including tonight, he is 2 of 11 on threes in 11 games with the Mavs. But the range is dialed.
Just when you think they're going to put a dent in the score, somebody pops up and makes a three.
And with that, now the Clippers have their biggest lead of the game, up by 15. Teardrop too strong off the glass for Marshall. Mavs are outboarding the Clippers in this game by 4. But that was a trip where it's just one shot and a defensive rebound by Zubac as he closes in on the double-double. A driving layup is made by...
Really
and takeaway. PJ put it down. Chris down the rip. He's got Norman Powell coming with him. Deflected by Caleb Martin. Ball. And now the car is getting pretty far away in the distance. Headed towards the back third of the third. A show and go by Marshall. A takeaway by Norman Powell. Bogdanovich leaves it for Norman Powell, who's trying to grow into the game here in the third quarter. Misses on the shot, and Dallas rebounds. Kind of a quiet game for Powell. 9 points. He's 4 for 11 from the floor. Pick and roll involving Dinwiddie and Jones. A missed 60% almost for the Clippers tonight.
58 points in the paint.
For the Mavericks, they went into last night's game having shot 51.5% in the previous 9 contests. Oh, wow, Derek just... Mavs had shot 51.5% over a 9-game stretch. Then they were held to 40. That is with all of his points at the line tonight. 4 made free throws. Separating from Kai Jones to the basket. Even Zubac.
Contact.
10 for 10 now.
He has had a phenomenal game.
Marshall got it.
Called to make.
It's 3 players doing the heavy lifting for the Clippers. 27 from Leonard, 24 from Harden, 23 from Zubac. The Mavs only have 2 players in double figures. AD 23, Clay 14. Kick.
17 big.
Harden darts into the paint. Back jam, Zubac.
Almost a pass.
Down the lane, a wraparound by Dinwiddie to Kai Jones.
Man, that's the guy you want, Kai Jones.
As it stands right now, Had an 8 for 8 while playing way back when with the Lakers against Brooklyn.
Make excuses, but not enough playmaking.
Worm under the first apron hard count came out earlier today. 4 different times he has sprained his right ankle this year. This is 17 games that he's been unavailable due to those ankle sprains. Now, being doubtful today, maybe that leaves you in play for the next game. It's 72 hours until they play again against the Lakers on Wednesday. Here's Max Christie. Deflected ball, but right to Kai Jones. Another deflection, but that one doesn't fall for Kai Jones. It's a takeaway by Derek Jones Jr. Bogdanovich wide open. Oh boy, is right. Shot attempts limited. That lower abdomen for a minute. He's back on the floor, deemed to be able to go here for some run in the fourth quarter. Clippers are in control of the game. 105-82. Dinwiddie launches. Ben Simmons playing tonight. He sat on the front night of the back-to-back last night due to injury management. Kawhi Leonard playing a back-to-back for the first time. Since
30 points seemed like an easy thing.
But then came back and played games 2 and 3 against Dallas, but did not look like himself. And then set the remainder of the series after playing games 2 and 3. The Clippers evened the series in games 4, and game 4 that is, before Dallas won games 5 and 6. Harp on it, Hart.
Harp on it. Don't put it ticket, right? It's their defense. Their defense.
They're salty.
Very stingy.
But it's hard to defend that. Free throw attempts in this game, he's made 6. Drew a loose ball. He was elbowed by teammate Daniel Gafford.
Very unfortunate.
Missed a chunk of the second quarter of the game. Going to the back to have that taken care of. Davis now at 25 points. And a corner 3 is made by Nick Batum. As a result, he is 20th in the league in three-point percentage this year. Batum is a bit over 41.5% on the deep ball this season. Dinwiddie, driving kick, PJ in the corner. Got a rebound by Leonard. He's got a teammate down. Derek Jones Jr. is down behind the play. The Clippers are playing 4v5 on offense right now. Here's Ben Simmons, and Simmons tossed it in with the right hand. Tonight in 9 minutes for Ben Simmons, who started the year with Brooklyn and is playing in his 15th game since joining the Clippers. 4 points, 4 boards, 3 assists a game in a bench role. Klay Thompson for 3 for the Mavs. Running the floor, Derek Jones on the up and under. Full figures for the Clippers. It's just those 3.
Didn't need anything else.
They have been sensational from the jump ball tonight. Harden driving and scoring or facilitating.
He and Kawhi set the tone early.
Kawhi playing a Kawhi-like game, and Zubac's a force inside. Davis is still out there, so is Lively. Post up here, Anthony Davis against Derek Jones Jr.
Been the better team.
2 nights in a row.
2 nights in a row.
7 seconds is the unofficial number I have on him.
I think I'd start thinking about getting some of those guys out of there. Not to say you're giving up, but I mean, at some point, you have to be smart about it.
Play against Ben Simmons. Now, obviously, the Mavericks have a very big night to prepare for. That will be Emotional for the Lakers, for Luka, for the Mavericks, for the fans, for everybody on Wednesday night. Shot by Klay Thompson missed. Lakers are part of the 3-4 battle with Denver, but the thing about it is neither of those teams, 3 and 4, look, the 5 through 8 teams are playing so well, as we mentioned earlier. Somebody could creep up, not only miss the play-in, but could creep into the top 4 if anyone goes south in the last week of the regular season.
So it still boils down to what you're doing, not necessarily just what other teams are doing.
Control what you can control.
That's right, man. We say it all the time.
Later in the week, the Mavericks are going to look to the Clippers to give them an assist, because the Clippers are one of the number of tough games that the Sacramento Kings still have to play. The Mavs are going to drop down into a tie with the Kings, which means the Kings will be 9th, Dallas will be 10th.
Highlighted all night long. Don't get a chance to say perfect all the time, but perfect for him this evening.
Max Christie has gone in. So has Dwight Powell and Kai Jones. Christie drains a jump shot. We'll have a little long stretch against his brother Cam Christie tonight, and they're going to play approximately the same amount of time on the court together tonight, it would appear, as last night. That double-double stretch for Zubac started March 16th, by the way.
Take out of this one, man. I think it's safe to say Kawhi. And being Kawhi.
Yes.
Again.
And he's not going to have to fret over back-to-backs, obviously, in the playoffs. But as a player, Hart, when you know that, now that was kind of the last hurdle, if you will.
Yeah. Agreed. To see if he could go. I mean, he played a lot of minutes tonight. 25
minutes tonight, and there was an undisclosed minutes restriction. Probably could have played more if needed. Dwight Powell on the three-point attempt. This is his 3rd one this year.
Well, I think he could have played effectively.
Yeah.
Is what I'm talking about.
Tonight, career game number 702 for Powell. 697 of them with Dallas. Powell 5th. Mavs history in games played. Kai Jones.
Really nice by Martin.
I mean, I know we're all focused on the current state of affairs, and the play-in tournament race, but thinking the future. Making the most of it with by far the most effective games of Kai Jones' young NBA career. Let's see, tonight 100. He came to the Mavs having never scored more than 12 points in a game, and I believe he's done that 6 times now. He's got 16 tonight. And here is Cam Christie with an opportunity, and he outfights his brother for the rebound, but then missed a layup. Max tipped it away, but there was a tip attempt for Kai Jones a moment ago. So
talking over the last couple of days, and Max said, no, actually, we've hung out pretty much all day, and we told each other what we saw out there. So they were helping critique each other. I think is pretty cool as well, guys.
Max Sr. played at Wisconsin Superior, and Christina played at Northwestern. Katrina played at Northwestern.
That's fun stuff. That's a nice story.
Man, Max was, I saw him in the meal room after the game at the hotel last night. Yeah. He could not stop grinning when I brought it up. It's like, you guys got to play more than 27 seconds against each other tonight.
Yeah.
Clock's running out on how much we'll be able to see of it for the remainder of this season. For 3, Kobe Brown. By the way, I was running down the list of these 16 sets of brothers last night in the NBA.
Yeah.
I actually overlooked a couple on my list. I only did 14 of the 16.
That's
I forgot to mention last night Larry Nance Jr. and leaders that the Mavericks may have to get more familiar with. That's the only team they can play in the playoffs. If the Mavericks, Phoenix is still part of the whole thing. And then if you're 9 or 10, well, if you're 9, you get to host a home game.
Right.
And then whoever wins the 9-10 game plays the loser of the 7th place versus 8th place game, which is played at the home arena of the 7th place team. And then whoever doesn't come out on top has another chance. If you're 7 or 8, you have 2 games to win 1.
Right.
If you're 9 or 10, you got to win 2. But it has happened, and the Clippers know all too well on the wrong side of it that it can happen. You can lose 2. You can go in 8 and lose 2. That's what happened to them.
Yeah.
Back in 2021.
That's why I called it.
Or 22, I'm sorry.
That's why I called it the scariest thing.
Yeah, the scariest 2 words. Play-in tournament. Play-in's hyphenated. 1 word. Play-in tournament.
Nobody wanted to hear that, fellow, at the time.
You were speaking big facts on that for sure. Patty Mills, that is his. Took a decade of playing with the Spurs system and reeled to 6. There's 2 bones. In the final week of the, you could find yourself in the bottom half of the bracket real quick.
Yes, sir.
The West is going to be wild. Between the 3-8 race, Oklahoma City's already, they've had 1 locked down for a while. Houston's poised to be 2. There's that chaotic 3 through 8 race. And then, of course, there's 3 teams racing for spots 9 and 10 in the play-in tournament. Mavs, Kings, Suns. Our old buddy Jalen Brunson is back into the equation for the Knicks tomorrow.
We've been waiting.
Kobe Brown running the floor.
Knocked off.
The dying embers of this game reach 100 points on the Max Christie free throws.
I was going to have to regroup before Wednesday.
I said this about the February 25th game when the Mavs and Lakers played. You know, we certainly understand the emotional nature of it for Luka. There's an emotional nature for the Mavs side of things too. And I mentioned this on podcast and interviews. You know this, when you face your old team, and whether it's the player who was traded or the old teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot on the line for the old teammates too, and it's not disrespect or anything like that. It's just when you played with someone and you battled against each other in practice, and then you get like that.
You wanna get the best of whatever is out there, right?
Yep.
And I like that. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
It is a fraternity. There's a lot of close relationships within the fraternity. But for this sport, for 48 minutes on the court, for football for 60 minutes, for football for 90 minutes, you know, there's no friends when you step inside.
No way.
The whistle blows, there's no friends to start the game. The whistle blows at the end, we're friends again.
Your buddy gets you in a bad way, you hammer him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Davis, Leonard, Zubac, and Harden were all tremendous for the Clippers tonight. Major hat tip to that trio. The Clippers will sweep the season series, or will win the season series 3-1 against Dallas. They will win for the 14th time in the last 7 games, and they remain ultra